Well, here we are, guys. Here we are. I'm sure you can tell by the title. The Padres have signed Xander Bogaerts. The Padres have signed Xander Bogaerts, four-time All-Star, six-time Silver Slugger, 30 years old, shortstop for the Red Sox for the first part of his career. 11-year contract, $280 million. He's 30. He's going to be 41 when the contract's over. All right. Before we even talk about how good of a fit this is for the Padres and how good it is for the team, as you can obviously tell, I got my Padres shirt on that I've been wearing all day for no particular reason, but didn't expect this to happen. I got the Padres banner little foam thing right behind me. I'm a huge, huge Padres fan. You'll probably know that from my content. And if you don't, now you do. 11 years, $280 million. The Padres offered Trey Turner $340 million for 11 years. Supposedly, they offered $400 million to Aaron Judge. That was never really confirmed, that amount of money, and it's starting to sound like that wasn't actually a real offer. Nevertheless, okay, before we even talk about how good of a fit he is, the first thing that people always say when they see these types of contracts, right? 11 years, oh, he's 30, he's going to be 41. Who cares? Who cares about the 11th year of his contract, the 10th year of his contract, the 9th year of his contract? You're paying that money up front. You have to understand. Same thing with Trey Turner, 30 years old, getting an 11-year contract. Aaron Judge, 31, getting a 9-year contract. Everybody's wondering, holy shit, what's going to happen when they're 39, 40, 41 years old? Who cares? You're paying that money, $280 million up front, for the guy that they are now, the guy that they're going to be, and how they're going to help your team get to that next step. And that's a great transition to exactly the reasoning behind the signing. It's so huge for the Padres. It's so huge. And you're already thinking, well, the Padres have Tatis who can play shortstop. They got Machado. They got Juan Soto. Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Musgrove, Jake Cronenworth's a great infielder. And the only part of this that's a little bit, I don't want to say confusing, but just maybe unexpected slightly. Not that the Padres weren't in talks with Xander, because they were in talks with Xander Bogaerts. But earlier today, as we record this on December 7th, earlier in the day, there were multiple reports from multiple MLB and baseball reporters and writers that were saying Xander Bogaerts to the Red Sox is gaining steam, it's gaining momentum. And a lot of people were assuming Xander was going to do the same thing that Aaron Judge kind of did, where he opted out or elected free agency and then ultimately just used the leverage from the other offers that he got to go back to his original team for more money. And that's what Aaron Judge did. Bogaerts was gaining momentum earlier today, according to multiple reports, to go back to the Red Sox. They were heavy in negotiations. And now, all of a sudden, past midnight Eastern, Xander Bogaerts is in agreement with the San Diego Padres, 11 years, $280 million. Let's take a look at some of these tweets here, right? So, here's the initial one right here. Shortstop Xander Bogaerts and San Diego Padres in agreement on an 11-year, $280 million contract. Let's just talk quickly about how good he looks in those brown pinstripes. Looks unbelievable. It looks unbelievable. I mean, it just fits him perfectly. Just fits his body, and he's going to perform. I love it. I love it. I love it. The next best tweet that I saw so far was this one from Don Orsillo. Don Orsillo spent the first part of his MLB broadcasting career. He's been a broadcaster for a long time. Spent a long, long time with the Boston Red Sox as their TV play-by-play guy for Nesson. He's a legendary announcer. If you guys haven't heard Don Orsillo make any calls, he's unbelievable. And this picture was taken when the Red Sox came to San Diego, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago. Bogaerts is on the Red Sox. Obviously, Don Orsillo at that point had made his transition from the Red Sox organization to the Padres, where he's now their play-by-play guy on TV. And they took a picture together because Don spent a lot of time in Boston. He was beloved by everybody on the team, in the organization, and he was down on the field. Xander took a picture with him. And Don tweets this out tonight. Yes, Padres, welcome to San Diego, my friend, with Xander Bogaerts. Love that connection. Love that energy. Absolutely electric on top of it. Now, this, again, is something that you don't, maybe you see it, maybe you don't, but you're seeing it a lot more often in these contracts, these long-term contracts, because these guys not only want the long-term commitment, but they want that guaranteed money coming in towards the end of their career. So he does not have any opt-outs, so he can't opt out unless, the only way he'd be off the team is if he gets released, I guess. Also includes a full no trade clause, and excuse me for that. No trade protection means he can't get traded. He literally cannot get traded. If he, for some reason, came up in a trade and the Padres agreed on a trade with another team, he would have the full protection to say, actually, no, you will not trade me. So that's very common, and that gets reported on. Xander Bogaerts not having any opt-outs, no trade protection. I don't care. I don't care. All right? You have to understand something. Well, and I'll preface with this. Xander and Scott Boras, who is his agent, made it pretty clear early on in free agency and in their negotiations that apparently Xander Bogaerts was not going to play anywhere but shortstop, which is what he's played his whole career. So then you start to think about the Padres as a team. You're like, well, you have Tatis coming back. You had Ha-Seong Kim, who played shortstop for him all last year, wasn't a great offensive producer, but played an excellent Gold Glove caliber shortstop on defense, which is really important for a position like shortstop, right? You want Gold Glovers or high caliber defensive players at those premier positions of shortstop, catcher, center field, third base. And Bogaerts had played shortstop his entire career in Boston. So him basically making it clear and demanding that he's not going to play anywhere but shortstop, it makes sense, right? I mean, he's well within his rights to say that, to do that. Now he's on the Padres. And you go through that Padres infield, right? You go from third base around the horn. You got Manny Machado playing third. You got what was last year Cronenworth playing second base. And then you had like Josh Bell / Brandon Drury playing first base. Jake Cronenworth can play first base, has played a lot of first base for the Padres. That's a position. It's not a foreign position to him. He could slide over there in a heartbeat, no problem. And that opens up a lot of different things in the middle of the infield, because now at shortstop, you have 3 great options. And if I had to rank them, assuming they're all healthy and fully producing, I'd still would put Tatis as my primary choice at shortstop. I would. I'd put Bogaerts second, and then Ha-Seong Kim, like I said, plays great defense, but he's not quite the hitter. But he's got some other skills. He's got tools with, he can run, he's got a great arm, a good base runner, stuff like that. So, what do the Padres do? And my answer to that question is, and I want to make this abundantly clear, who cares? Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. They will find a way to put guys wherever they want. And in this situation, Bogaerts saying, I won't play anywhere but shortstop. If that stays true and that holds, fine. Put him at short. You could take Ha-Seong Kim, slide him over to second base, and with the banning of the shift, defensive production and consistency and above average defense at second base is becoming a lot more important. You can get any guys with more range, better arms, et cetera, et cetera. So you could go Machado at third, Bogaerts at short, Ha-Seong Kim at second, and like I said, Jake Cronenworth sliding over to first base. That leaves out Fernando Tatis Jr. At this point in his career, from you seeing, some of the videos I made about how I feel about him, it's cooled off. He's forgiven. Life will go on, right? And he'll come back in April. The question is, when he comes back, or maybe in spring training, we'll get a better indication of what's actually going to happen with Fernando Tatis Jr. and his positional future with the Padres. But obviously, he's an incredible athlete. He can run. He's got an absolute cannon of an arm. So do you consider putting him in the outfield? When you go through their outfield options, right? You have Juan Soto, like we've talked about, which is also just unbelievable that we have him on the Padres. Soto's in right, and Trent Grisham played, again, similar to Ha-Seong Kim, an absolutely stellar Gold Glove caliber center field. Very important. Grisham had a really, really bad offensive year last year, but the Padres couldn't really take him out of the lineup because he played such a great defense in center field. They had a sort of, not really a platoon, it was pretty much Jurickson Profar's job for most of last season in left field. Profar's gone. He's a free agent. Grisham plays a great defensive center field. Do you keep Grisham in center field? Do you try to slide Tatis out to left? Do you slide Grisham from center to left field? Throw Fernando Tatis Jr., incredible athlete, in center. There's so many options, so many things to choose from. And the one thing that I want to end this video and emphasize is that these types of problems are the type of problems the Padres have never had before in their history. It is so unbelievable that our lineup next year is going to feature Fernando Tatis Jr., Now, again, when healthy, when he's producing, I get it. And when he's not cheating his ass off, being an idiot, breaking his wrist, all those different things, I get it. Trust me, I get it. When he's not doing all those things and he's playing, he's an all-star MVP caliber player. XANDER Bogaerts, all-star Silver Slugger. He finished 5th in MVP voting in 2019, not long ago. So you could argue MVP caliber, probably never going to be in that conversation with a lack of power. Nevertheless, all-star caliber, great, basically 300 career hitter. Manny Machado, all-star, MVP caliber player, finished 3rd in MVP voting this year. Juan Soto, all-star, MVP caliber player. If the top of the Padres order next year goes Tatis at any point, any combination of the 4, but here's how I would do it personally. Tatis leading off, XANDER Bogaerts hitting 2nd, Juan Soto hitting 3rd, Manny Machado hitting 4th. Oh my God. Oh my God. If that's not the best top 4 in all of baseball or close to it, I'd be shocked. I'm so excited. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. And the money, man. Peter Seidler, the owner, the Padres owner, has made it abundantly clear, especially like we talked about with the offers with Trey Turner, discussions with Aaron Judge. Apparently, there's a lot of money to be found, and the Padres are doing it the right way. The window for the Padres is now. It is right now, today. 2022 was their first year of the window, and they got to the LCS. 2023 is the big year, and 2024 is also the big year. They have some other issues that they need to address. Yu Darvish, his contract is up after this year. Blake Snell's contract is up after this year. You got Josh Hader for 2 more years, but then what, right? You have to address a lot of these issues. But apparently, money is just not an issue for Peter Seidler, the owner, AJ Preller, the GM, and the organization. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe the Padres are spending their way into a big market franchise. And just so you guys understand, every single owner in Major League Baseball, for the most part, is capable of doing this. It's just a matter of whether they want to, shell out the money to do it. And I feel bad for those other franchises that are struggling right now, aren't spending a lot of money. I think they're going to end up suffering a lot more, especially in the coming years, right? You have Tampa Bay, you have Oakland, Cleveland. I know Cleveland made the playoffs, but, they didn't pay their team anything. Good for them for making the playoffs. But, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, if I didn't say them already, you have so many teams that aren't going to be shelling out this kind of money. I just can't believe it. Oh, I can't believe the Padres got XANDER Bogaerts. I can't believe the Padres have Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado. I can't believe it. Thank you guys for watching, man. I can't believe it. It's the craziest thing to be a Padres fan right now. And if you guys don't have a team or your fandom falls somewhere else with a struggling team, or you feel like you need a new team, you're welcome to join the Padres fan group, fandom, the Friar Faithful, as they're called. We love the Padres. XANDER Bogaerts to the Padres. Holy